Hello, everyone. I'm Anne-Marie Green.
And I'm Vladimir Gita. Thanks for joining us. As Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg is set to testify before Congress today, a new CBS News poll out this morning finds 51% of Americans consider Facebook's response to the massive data scandal with Cambridge Analytica unacceptable.
63% of Facebook users believe that their data is unsafe, but Americans say they were not surprised to learn that outside companies were accessing Facebook's users' personal information. Here to talk about the results of a new CBS News poll is Elections and Surveys Director Anthony Salvanto. Thanks for joining us, Anthony.
How are you guys?
Good. So this is a big day for Mark Zuckerberg. They've been calling for him to testify before Congress for a long time now. He's finally going to do it. We saw his early remarks where he basically says, I know, I'm wrong, it's my fault. But I'm wondering about public sentiment. Is public sentiment with Zuckerberg or not?
So far, people say that the response to all this has been unacceptable by a 2-to-1 margin. And the actual framing of that is they feel like the company could be doing more. So, we'll see. We'll see what he says. We'll see if that starts to move over time. There's also a considerable number of people who don't know enough about it yet, who just haven't followed it yet, which sort of is a lesson in even big stories like this take a while to kind of filter out there. But, as you mentioned, we also found people saying they're not surprised by all of this, which also tells you that people understand what the business model of these companies are, and they start to make that trade-off. They know that their data is at least going to be used in some fashion, and then they get that social media and that sharing in return.
Right. One of the questions that's out there is, should Facebook be regulated? The flip side of that, of course, is that it might stifle innovation. What does the poll say? Right.
A majority say more regulation, but specifically to try to keep their data safe. And it's important to say what we mean by safe here. It's whether or not it would be shared by people with whom you otherwise wouldn't choose to share it. And, so if there were regulation that could help that, then people would be all for it. In some sense, that's sort of an easy response to this, right? Okay, make a law against it. But there's about 4 in 10 who say that would stifle innovation, that would stifle growth. So it's not an enormous majority. It's about 6 in 10.
So throughout this whole Cambridge Analytica thing, Facebook stock has really taken a hit. And the concern is that people don't trust the company, so the investors' confidence has sort of dropped radically. But I'm wondering if the users' trust, whether they trust Facebook or not, if that really makes a difference. Is it important for the company to regain the trust of the consumer? And does it have a chance to?
Well, there's a couple of things out of this poll that speak to that. One is that they do have a gap there in terms of who has a lot of confidence that they can protect users' data, in other words, keep it from being shared, and also prevent fake accounts and prevent the spread of erroneous or misinformation that's out there. Having said that, a lot of people tell us that they don't believe everything that they see on Facebook. They believe that other people believe too much of what they see on Facebook.
That's interesting.
And that's not a surprise.
That's the texting and driving, scenario where everyone thinks that they can do it, but other people really should not.
Exactly. So there's a bit of that gap there. And we also find, though, when we ask people why they use it in the first place, they say it's to connect with friends and family more so than they say it's to get news and information. So you have to balance the idea that they don't want these fake accounts out there, they don't want the misinformation out there, but at the same time, they're not saying that's what they're there for. So that tempers a bit of the sort of that disconnect.
Did they talk about how this mistrust could manifest itself? Like, will they just shut down their Facebook page or their Instagram or whatever?
Well, so far we're not seeing a lot of that. There's some folks who say they consider doing it, but we still see in the poll that the vast majority of people have an account. And like I said, they say they use it to connect with people that they haven't stayed in touch with friends and family, etc. And so that's what they claim, that's what they say is their main reason for being there.
Anthony Salvanto, thank you very much.